Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fiction. The podcast that revolves around one central theme, stories, and the people that tell them. We'll talk about movies, TV shows, video games, historical events, and weird news headlines. There's really no topic we won't touch. But it doesn't stop there. If you've got a story, something funny or random that may have happened to you or a friend, send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Until then, it's story time.
From J.A. Bryden, creator of the Emu Wars, comes a groundbreaking video game created for Jamies by Jamies in the world of Thruckracha, a world that is breaking at a breaking point as powerful houses vie for power. None of that matters, as it's simply background noise for what really matters: the gameplay. Ignore hours of character-driven stories, plots to enjoy the things that really matter, such as exploring all 18 worlds and maps in excruciating details, killing everything in sight, gaining the best gear and equipment, even if it means burning down a few villages here and there to obtain it, collecting all 99 gem hearts to forge the greatest weapon, a weapon so powerful it destroys other game files on your console, because this is the only game that matters. Experience the robust character creator, allowing you to choose from many options such as Henry Cavill, Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds. Romance your party members with a simple push of a button. None of that character development that should get in the way of the action that you deserve. New Game Plus? Ha! Try New Game Plus Plus. For each playthrough, your character gets even more powerful, and the story becomes even less important. J.A. Bryden presents Power Fantasy, a Jamie Bryden game, coming soon to the PS6. Welcome, everyone, to Stories, the True and the Fictional. I am, of course, one of your hosts. My name is Chris Park, the enjoyer, lover of all things story. I love story. I love video games because of the story. Even if a game has great mechanics, if the story isn't there, I won't play it. I'm, of course, joined by my polar opposite, J.A. Bryden, author of the Emu Wars, the one writer who hates story. How are you going, sir?
Wow. One, letters from the Emu War is the name of the book. I didn't invent the actual Emu War in 1932. Don't have a time machine. If I did, I would have done it a little bit differently. But I'm going well, apart from your slightly inaccurate. And I do say slightly inaccurate.
But it's slightly inaccurate, but not entirely.
No. Story still matters. I am, just because I'm a completionist doesn't mean,
Okay,
look, I'm the one that goes, like, when there's a story, when there's a game with multiple endings, I go through and I play every single ending. Just haven't done it with The Witcher that much.
You are one to excuse a poor story if the gameplay is solid, though. You'll still play the shit out of that game. Is that not accurate?
No, well, that's only happened once.
Okay. And is it true, J.A. Bryden, that on your first playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima, you didn't care about what the true story element of the ending was? You chose the one that would give you the best gear. This is not an accurate?
No, that's actually not, because I went with what I felt was needed to do. Then I discovered, because I do multiple playthroughs, I went, oh, I like this suit. Oh, that's a really cool suit. And then I went through and I did the other ending, and I went, no, I like the first suit better.
So it was all about the gear, not about the moment.
No. The first playthrough was all about the moment. I went with what I felt the people that made the game wanted me to do. Like it felt heavily that you should have done a certain thing. For
Hmm.
spoiler alert, for a game that's like 4 years old,
Or
and
like 4 or 5 years old.
and the
Yeah.
second game's about to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, because I you know how crazy I am. I will play if I love a game, I will play it on every single difficulty. I will do every single multiple ending that I possibly can do to learn the game inside and out.
Yeah, I will say that you are very much that kind of game. If there's like 6 games you play, and then there's like,
We've been through this. It's more like 10,
more like
12.
10, 12, 10, 12. But like,
But it seems like less because I will spend 6 months on one game.
correct, correct. That is an accurate statement. Now, you're currently going through a game at the moment. After the wonderful, before we dive into what you're doing right now, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't obviously say that none of this podcast is possible without the sweet power of Mountain Dew. And of course, Rebecca Cassells and the Rising Dawn series available on all of your favorite bookstore, which is only Amazon, because I don't know where you would buy books apart from Amazon. And I'm actually being deadly serious about this. I walked past a bookstore. I think that's one of the shopping center, and I'm like going, wow, what a novelty! What a
Yeah, but
strange.
they're very well placed around the country because I think they go, here is where they'll sell. Let's open the bookshop here.
But let's be honest. You'll go into a bookstore. You'll
Mhm.
take a look at a book to see if you want to buy the book. You'll read the back cover. You read a bit about it. Then you'll go check the price on Amazon and realize it's cheaper, and then just order it and then get it next day
Yeah,
delivered.
yes and no. I reckon there's still a lot of people out there that love, like me, love
The tactile sensation of owning a
yeah.
book.
And then there's the what do you call it? The secondhand bookstores where people want to go and see if they've still got books in print.
See, antique books is a bit more. That's a bit different.
Well,
I can respect an antique book.
Because they do go out of print, some of them. Because I got a book for my dad for his birthday or Christmas. I can't remember which it was. It was out of print, and I had to move mountains to find it
Mm-mm.
because it was like been out of print for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
you never know what you will find when you walk into one of those old.
absolutely. And the only bookstore I know that actually is functional in Australia that I could say probably makes profit is actually like Kinnakuna bookstore in Town Hall. But that's mostly because they also sell manga, and that obviously that sells.
Well, you got
And
Dimox. There's one in Rouse Hill. It's pretty big.
true.
Remember when we went to JB Hi-Fi and your wife went, "I'm gonna go check out the bookstore," which is directly opposite.
Yep. So look, back to what I was saying. Rebecca Cassells and the Rising Dawn
Rising
series
Dawn series.
available on Amazon. She also is a friend of the podcast. We're excited that she's willing to pick up some work for us in one of our many ideas. We are in the month of May now. Tell us about the happenings of your soon to be featured book.
Well, I believe when this episode drops, it'll probably be a few days away from release. Let me just double check that. No, it's already out.
What?
When this episode drops, the book is out.
Wow, no fanfare or anything?
What do you mean no fanfare?
I don't know. Marketing.
Yeah, there is plenty of marketing going on, my friend. It's just
Okay.
do you want me to email the marketing directly to you? Do I have to organize a barbershop quartet to knock on your roller door before they get to the door? And
I again, you have a book signing. Tell us about the details of
book signing, book launch. It is June 3rd at Enniskillen Orchard in Grossvale. That probably means nothing to our overseas listeners, but to the family and friends that may or may not be listening to this podcast, it is June 3rd, Enniskillen Orchard at 2 p.m. It's a Saturday. Come down for a feed, for some coffee, and yeah, get a copy of the book. I'll sign it for you. And yeah, it's going to be good.
I am looking forward to that. I can't wait. I can't again. We've discussed this before. Putting it where you did does limit the amount of people that can turn up because you've put the book launch in Narnia. But again,
No, I really haven't.
look, I'm
And
sure if
and like I said, this is going to be the one of many events.
that's
Like
true.
I said, in
So you are okay. So let me clarify that. Yes, you are on a book tour, so
sort
to
of
speak.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing an author talk in July at the very large library that they said they'll have a decent turnout for that. So there's plenty happening. This is just something I wanted to do closer to home because I have a lot of friends and family that are coming to it. So it'll probably be chock a blocked.
And we cannot, I'm excited, and I've just actually gone onto your little invite to say I am attending.
Oh,
I'm
which
actually
one? Which one? Because I made a Facebook invite, and then I was just scrolling through my publisher's page, and then they made their own one for the same event. So there's two events out there. Theirs looks more professional. Um,
probably.
my yeah, but my design more caters the feel of stories of true and fictional podcast. So
Absolutely, and you're in a few years gone by when you're up there talking at the bookies or the Saturn Awards as they're actually technically called, not the bookies, and you're talking about your latest science fiction a masterpiece, with the characters somewhat maybe look a little bit and sound a little bit like Henry Cavill, Cat Graham, and Jenna Ortega.
I need to stop you right there because I don't know how I feel about you sneaking in this Jenna Ortega when I have not been fully, like, I know who she is, but I haven't been fully introduced. Like, it just feels like you're sneaking in. Like, well, what if I just start sneaking in Brendan Fraser? Am I allowed to sneak in Brendan Fraser?
Absolutely, but I don't think you should ship Brendan Fraser and Jenna Ortega because she's like 19 or 20, and that would be weird. I don't think the ages are right.
Wait. That's weird. That's weird for you. What if
Um,
what if he's an uncle or a step uncle?
well, I mean, look, we got different rules apply. Or if they're in Game of Thrones, different rules apply. Again, nothing's more funny than that Game of Thrones scene. And actually, it was technically historically accurate. It was really funny, where like the king was like 50, and he's talking to like 12-year-old girl who's like potentially he's betrothed, and he was like going, and she goes, "Oh, I can't wait till I'm like 15 and we get married." And then like he's like, he's feeling really awkward about it.
Yeah.
But that was not unheard of because
no.
that was her best. Like the chances of her not dying during childbirth is like 50. Like that was like
Yeah.
that. Like it's like I would like to have a kid and then have like you want to be like I want to have a kid and then look for a new wife. It's like no, you want to like
Yeah.
So I found that really funny because like one, it looked awkward and everyone goes that's so weird and all the historians going like,
Well,
like
if live back then, it wouldn't be so weird.
Sadly, like it would be weird. But anyway, we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to hearing from Shoreline Publishers, and meeting them and meeting them and shaking their hands, and then listening to their tales about how they're going to change, how they're trying to bring books back into the world, which is again,
well, they've got a lot of business.
I think we need to remember in the height of this writers' strike in America, there is no movies without books because writers
are
somewhat lazy, and they look to books as going, let's just do that.
Yeah,
books is a solid medium. It has obviously you've built an entire podcast around books, so obviously like you realize that there is a stories, campfire stories, sitting around a campfire, having someone tell you a story is what all people dream of in terms of one being being creative, but people always have a fond book of that sort of brings them joy. Speaking of books, what just on this topic, what is a book that you want to recommend to the listeners that an obscure book that they might not have heard of?
Obscure book, because I have not read in a long time. Look, the two books that I always hold in high regard because they're the first two books I ever read and I actually read. Because I didn't read in books in school. Like I literally, when there was a book report, I would just go up to someone and go, "Oh man, I just want to test. Do you want me to test your knowledge? Okay, tell me all about this book." And then tell me all about the book, and I'm like, "Yeah, cool, sweet." And then then I'd write a book report on what they said. But first book I ever read that I actually read was Jurassic Park. Um,
It's a good book. Good
it's
book.
a fantastic book.
But that's not really
And
obscure book that you're going to recommend to someone
no,
because
well, like I said, I do not read. Like I do not read.
okay. Well,
When I do read, it's more non-fiction books.
mm,
I can recommend a lot of non-fiction books, but
yeah. Well,
I
I'm gonna do a book recommendation just because I felt like it. The
okay.
book I'm going to recommend, and this is actually so it's actually a series. It is called um I believe the series is called the Obsidian Trilogy. It is a series by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. First book is An Outstretched Shadow. It is a story about a young man named Kellen who grew up in a city of mages. Having said that, they're very dogmatic and very controlling. He learns that he is what is essentially in the world's called a wild mage, where every time you want to do a spell, the spell enacts a price. And it's not always like your personal energy. It might be like you have to come to this forest at this particular time to help this thing. It's all go here and do something. How the wild magic works is it's basically it's connecting the world. So basically you go there, then you realize, oh, there's an animal in trouble, and then you pay the mage, you help that out, that's the mage debt lifted. But then that's the magic takes care of the world, whilst the magic they use is very much more like controlling and dogmatic, and they're draining the magic from their users. He escapes and then goes on an epic adventure to save the world. He realizes he's quite I won't actually that's really just going to spoil territories.
But this is how the book ends.
Yeah, but it is your typical hero's journey. It is your typical story, a coming of age, and even one time, they mentioned the book where like, one of the chapters is from a different point of view, and she's talking about young Kellen, and she says every now and then he says things which show the man he's going to like. Every now and then he's a kid, he's joking around, he's mucking around, he's like like a stumbling kid. But every now and then he says something sharp and dynamic, and she goes, "That's." Every now and then it's showing the man that he's going to become, like this powerful, like this, leader. It's an again amazing story, well worth reading and checking out. And honestly, the fact that no one's thought about this book to like, if Netflix wants a TV show, this is the most fucking easiest thing to do. But again, there's just so many books out there. Sorry, I didn't say they haven't come across it, but this is my book recommendation. I'll get in terms of how many times did I look at my phone when using the scale. How many times did I look at my phone when I was looking at this book? Quite a bit, because I was listening to it on Audible. So
So you're technically reading along.
Reading along on Audible. Yeah. Look, honestly, I'll admit it. To the wider audience, I'm not afraid. All my books are on Audible. I have like 400 books on my phone, and that's because I work a job that pays me quite a decent amount of money, but it also means I'm up at all hours doing coordinating with my various offshore departments, which means I have a lot of time for audiobooks. So then would recommend this book. Now, before we get on to other topics, Jamie, I'd be remiss. I think I was starting this, then I got sidetracked. I'd be remiss. You've been playing Jedi Survivor. How are you going in that one, sir?
Yeah. Look, I've got past the annoying update fiasco, and not being able to progress in the game until update happened and all that stuff. But I've had a pretty full-on week, so I haven't played too much. But I am on to the third planet. I'm a little bit of the way, and I have unlocked a lot of stuff. But yes, I'm very much enjoying the new lightsaber combat. It is, it's fun, but like some of the challenges are very annoying. Like it's like they've gone next level. It's not just, hey, wall run here. It's wall run here, then flip up here. Don't hit the burny fire things like there's gas, burny gas that's shooting out, and you got to time it perfectly. And now, I'm just terrible at timing.
Have you? And again, no shame in this answer, Jamie. This is a safe space. Have you gotten up to a difficult wall jumpy runny thing? Press start, go into difficulty, change it to easy to do the wall jumpy thing, and then switch it back to normal.
because I believe that all the wall jumpy whatever, that's got nothing to do with the difficulty. It's more so.
But when you fall and fail, that takes away your health. So then, but on easy it doesn't.
Yeah, but you have 3 chances. You have like 3 chances. I have not changed the settings.
Okay.
No, it takes away your health because it's basically 30 your health gone, 30 your health gone, all your
Yeah.
health gone.
Now,
No, I have
does
not.
it like because I know that you didn't realize because of the last game that the game switched you to easy because you kept dying on a spot. Does this game do the same?
I have not. I have not died that much for it to even.
Because I remember like playing the old one at your house and going, "Hey, why am I not losing health at this?" And you're like, "I don't know." I said, "Oh, the game switched to easy." And then I realized because you went to Dathomir first, probably died like a bazillion times there. Then the game went, "Okay, easy mode for you," and then like
Yeah.
so
No,
obviously
well,
it doesn't do that. This one
this
doesn't do that.
time I haven't died. I haven't died enough to
Have the game go like, okay, let's put the training wheels
I've
on.
probably died 4 times in total.
Yeah.
In like probably I don't know, like 6 hours of playtime or something.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
pretty good.
it's still modeled off much modeled off the first game, so it's like I still get the hang of it kind of thing. But it's not as challenging as the first one in the sense of
Because the first one very much was was a Souls-like game. So basically,
yeah
it was designed to kill you. It was designed to fucking break you. Like
yeah
it was basically it was Ivan Drago talking to Rocky, going, "I must break you."
yeah
It was like that
yeah
was the guy. Like,
yeah
but it sounds like I think they're probably like maybe EA's request of them. Maybe they've gone like, let's make it easier to get a little bit of, I
yeah.
guess, more
But
people.
then at the same time, it's easier. But then I think the combat is much easier. It's just I hate the freaking puzzles and the
And honestly, and I will be completely honest, the fact that I know those puzzles are waiting for me is the main reason I haven't even started the game.
yeah
I'm actually not doing another Japanese up. Like I started a Japanese RPG, so I'm gonna be
yeah
gone for another like 40 hours. Like I'm not I
yeah
like Tales of Vesperia. Like
yeah
so I like and I'm still just like helping people's cats. I haven't even gone up to fighting God yet in this Japanese RPG. So like
yeah.
and the Western Catholic Church hasn't appeared yet to show how
Oh
evil they
wow.
are. So I'm not even close to finishing this one. So
Yeah
but the puzzle look if you say to me a game is difficult because the combat is challenging, I'll be like, no, like I finished Demon
yeah
Souls back in the
yeah
day.
yeah. So
So
it's yeah
I will do a difficult combat things. But you say
yeah
it's challenging because of jumping puzzles, I was like, get fuck right
yeah
off. I just don't
yeah.
I just can't I'm just
It
not a puzzle
it
guy.
it it does have the request a hint button.
Uh
you know,
okay, oh
you know. So,
shit.
but look, I think it's too. It's just like one of them was very annoying to figure out
Hmm.
because it was like you find these force bubble thing. I don't know. You'd know the proper term for them, like a tear in the force, and then you go through and you do a little puzzle thing. And one of them was like there's platforms
Oh,
like that you got to jump over, and then there's a moving force field coming towards you,
it's the worst.
and you got to dodge the force field. I'm going, this is insane. And then like after dying about once or twice, I'm like, okay, now I get it. Every time you jump, the force field swaps sides.
Uh,
So it's coming towards you, and if you jump, then it
uh,
goes in front of you, and then but then
uh.
if you double jump, then it stays on. It's just
Like that like again, look, it looks like an amazing game.
oh
I
yeah, it
will.
is.
Am I going to play it? Yes. Am I going to wait until someone can show me the most easiest way to do the puzzles online in some sort of like tutorial? Like, I'll wait a few months until basically there's like a
They're
here's how to do this thing. Like, here's
they're
how you do the
already
puzzle
there.
bit.
They're already there. Yeah, I have not. I've only Googled one to figure it out. Like,
Oh, I won't do that. I'll be fucking just living on YouTube going like this bit.
yeah. Do you remember our friend Michael and he's playing God of War and he asks us, "Oh, I'm stuck in this place. Where do I go?"
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and he couldn't describe it well enough. And we're going like, "Dude, just go on YouTube
And literally
and
Google the scene. Yeah.
watch the tutorial." And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to get spoilers." And I go, "You watch to the point where you
What's
know
to
where
the
to
point
go,
where the puzzle is at?
yeah, and then you can
Because like there's nothing wrong with utilizing other people's good fortune.
yeah,
In Ghost of Tsushima, I'll be fully admitting, like in the first map, I had cleared like 23 of the 24 strongholds. I just could not fucking find the last one.
yeah,
So I actually Googled it, and apparently I wasn't like a lot of people had the same problem. And so it says there's a
yeah,
map online saying it's here. I'm like, aha.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
eh. Like so, yeah. I mean, like, for me as a story game, I play for the story, so that's no issues there.
Yeah.
I'm not there are some people who play games because they want to show how amazingly skilled they are, and there are YouTube channels and videos for those
Yeah.
people to show off their amazing ability. Um, funny enough, in the new upcoming FF16 game, which Jamie will play as probably the first Final Fantasy game he'll play because
Oh, will I?
it's an action RPG. And the combat designer is the same guy who did Dragon's Dogma, the game you love. So
Can you climb things?
yes,
You can literally climb things.
I'm not sure if dude, you can turn into dude. There's bits where you turn into a giant monster and you do like kaiju battles.
Do you have a party?
I believe you do a buddy, yes.
Good. Okay.
And you also have a dog who you can pet, who's a good boy. So look, you're gonna get it the game.
No, okay, I'm leaving now to play something else while to distract myself. I'm
Yeah.
not playing Final Fantasy.
You will be when it comes out. It comes out in June.
Yeah.
But even they have like because they've got no difficulty level, so they've got like items that basically means like there's an item that basically makes you auto dodge if you press a button. And there's an item that you do like that you can sort of auto like
Yeah.
the comp you don't have to do any combos. You can just press one button and it'll do the combo for you. But when you use those items for streaming purposes, they actually put an icon under your name. So obviously then so when people stream the game, they've even said, yeah, this is so when you stream the game, you can tell if they're using items or not. I was going, okay, so you can't be like, look at my amazing ability, and then like, which is I think
Well,
fair
I'll check my schedule. I'll see how long I got more left on my 6 games, and then
Hey, look, honestly, you'll like this game, and look, I know that you don't like the turn-based combat, except for in D&D, separate thing.
Yeah,
but there has not been a more anticipated game than this one in such a long time. And your other game options in June are Diablo, which you're not going to play.
no, I'm not going to play that.
Yeah,
I guarantee I'll still be playing Jedi Survivor
by end of June.
100%. I'm on my first playthrough now, and
true.
And what we got 2 weeks left of June of May. Sorry.
Oh shit, you're right. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to play Jedi before like I'm playing a Japanese RPG. I like that's 40 plus hours of gameplay I have to go through to even get close to finishing it.
Yeah.
I'm
You're gonna have to welcome to my world. Begin the pile. Begin the pile.
No, because I bought this this new Tales game. I actually bought it last year, but then obviously I think something else came at the same time. I think it was God of War or something, and then I had to play God of War, and then Hogwarts came out. And then I finished Hogwarts, and then I finished. Then for some reason I went back to Ghost of Tsushima and like cleared all the islands and did that and loved it. And then I said I need a palate cleanse before I go on to Jedi. Picked up a Japanese RPG, and then I'm not gonna be then. From this, I'll probably jump straight into another Japanese RPG in Final Fantasy 16. Again, I'm not against that idea. That's just what's going to happen.
You'll have to wait. You have to wait to want to become a Jedi again.
Well, becoming a Jedi with Disney in control is also less exciting than it used to be. We'll just say that.
Well, let's just say these games are pretty keeping the hope alive.
They're again. Every now and then, they hint. They give us little hints of hope.
Yeah,
and then they smash that against the rock.
With the announcement of another trilogy. Well, speaking of Disney,
I think that's a perfect segue.
I think it's time for the second what do you call it? Installment. Second installment of correcting IGN.
Oh, beautiful. What do we have on the docket this time?
Well, an article came out a week or two ago and just come onto my radar. But the title of this article from IGN says, 10 years later, Iron Man 3 is still the best Tony Stark movie.
The fuck?
That's what they said.
That is 110% a clickbait title, just so they know that's not true.
They know that's controversial.
Yep. Oh my god.
controversy around it.
Like I've heard rumors online that digital media is dying and like multiple companies are shutting down. I didn't think they would be that desperate to click for clicks for that
Yeah.
shit, but there we go.
But I will give them this at the bottom of the article. Um, they have a poll
Yep.
for people to um
Correct them.
yes, correct. Correct. They have a poll like what's your favorite Tony Stark MC movie appearance?
Hmm.
And coming in at the highest is, can you guess what it is?
Spider-Man.
No, first Iron Man.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I I'd agree that that first movie was great when it came out. I didn't know much about Iron Man, but I was just like, man,
Yeah.
one of the best debuts. Not just because it was the first MCU
Well,
movie,
'cause it
but
started the MCU.
yeah.
No,
Um,
that's fair. Yep, that's fair enough.
Coming in at second is Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Yep.
Then it is Civil War.
Civil War. Okay.
Then it is Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Then it jumps down. Iron
What?
Man 3.
Who liked that movie?
Like, I don't know, to be honest.
I'm not one to get like no like I'm not one that gets offended easily.
Yeah.
But I actually found that movie horrendously insulting
Yeah.
because they took the Mandarin, one
Yeah.
of the greatest,
Villains.
villains,
Yeah.
um, of like of this era of this generation, or like Tony Stark's like kryptonite to like he's Lex Luthor, that like
Yeah.
the arch nemesis. And they said like, oh, we're gonna have Ben Kingsley play, and I was like, what? And then I heard so many people that I just wanted to punch in the face
Yeah.
because they were all American,
Yeah.
and they were going, well, Ben Kingsley's Asian, so it counts. It's like going, oh my god, that's not like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yes, he's Asian. That's an entire region. You can't then just like it would be as bad like that. It's as bad as like I can't even think of a good example. But you just can't say, oh, because he's Asian. It's all the same region. That counts
Yeah.
as like not even a little bit. No, and what they did with him was even worse.
Yeah. Because you kind of went, okay, fine, that they're doing this, like the
Yeah,
trailers had
it's
him.
like yeah, it's fine because Ben Kingsley is a fantastic actor. Like
Yeah.
again, he is. I'm not sure if he's won an Oscar, but he's Oscar worthy
I
for
think
sure.
he's probably, you know what, I'm going to find this out right now.
Ah, yep, he has won one.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 1983. Yeah. He played Gandhi.
Okay, perfect example. Imagine if we're going to cast Simu Liu because he's Asian as Gandhi.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Do you think this? Do you think that's a problem? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a
Bit
problem.
of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they again, to their credit, after they did it, they realized their mistake. They made
Yeah.
a short saying "Hail to the King," which basically saying like, "Hey, the Mandarin doesn't like his name being," and so they fixed it.
Yeah.
And then they showed a more accurate portrayal of the Mandarin in Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
which was a very good interpretation of the Mandarin. Again, I would prefer if he had the true rings like he did in
Yeah.
the comics, but again, I understand that they had rings before, so they made them like bangles, which is cool because like that's a very you see lots of lots of Hong Kong martial arts movies like
Yeah.
the ring bands are commonly used as a weapon. They're very cool
Yep.
scenes you can see with them. But the fact that they should have made them space technology, not like each ring was a captured power from a superpower alien, was like
Yeah.
again.
They're probably trying to simplify it
I get that. I do. And
because you could have probably done a whole MCU just on the Mandarin, you know?
Or you could again, and you probably should. He should have been more prominent. But
Yeah.
again, but that will not. We won't go into the fact of um, there wasn't Fing Fang Foom. Well, I mean, was that dragon Fing Fang Foom? I don't know. Like, yeah, you can argue it was, but it wasn't. But he didn't
Yeah.
talk, so I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no,
Yeah.
even though people
But
say yes.
yeah. Well, look, some of the points they're making in this clickbait article was like it was just more character growth for Tony. With like they had the whole him dealing with essentially PS, what do you call it? PTSD
Yeah.
from Avengers, and fighting aliens for the first time, sort of stuff.
Ah.
Um, yeah, like stuff like that. But still good ideas, bad execution.
Yep. Yep. So that leads perfectly, I think, into the next topic.
Yep, yep,
Great execution.
yes.
Now, spoiler warning, maybe. I don't know.
No, spoilers. 100% spoilers.
Oh yeah. Okay. Spoiler warning.
Deep dive.
With James Gunn's future, with the MCU now all but done, wrapped up, we went to see a magical film. Again, I took my wife Jamie to the film. Again,
Hey, I took you because I bought the tickets.
oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, I was wined and dined. And actually, yes, I was in fact wine and dined. We did have dinner beforehand. It was lovely. Having said that, I thought the Bavarian's meals were getting smaller as like
No, 100%.
because I remember getting that sausage platter before and like getting like just the most insane like sausages and going like yeah. This
Yeah,
time I was like, here's something you buy from Coles.
yeah.
It's like
No, man, I'd be terrified to go to Mjolnir, that Viking restaurant.
oh no,
now.
I would not go there anymore. Like if
They'd give you a napkin and there'll be like 2 bits of meat on it. Go like $45.
yeah, hell,
Like,
again, amazing restaurant.
yeah.
But you're right. I'd be just fucking terrified. But
Mm-hmm.
what were we saying? Yes. So we went and saw a fantastic film, uh, which is Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
Yep.
the final Guardians of the Galaxy. Made after a long time, finally came out, and to me, it was almost that. It was a perfect send off to the MCU. When I mean that, I actually really mean I think that was like perfect. If you're going to end the MCU, which they should, this was a good film to do it on. Like it felt like, to me, it felt like the last great hope.
They had, and then they're like, well, I'm gonna go over here now. you know,
And I do understand. So it's a darker film.
yeah,
It's a much darker film than the other films. And I do understand. I heard some people say that like whilst they loved it, they don't think they'll go see it again in the cinema. And I do get that because, and there was an article around saying animal lovers are gonna have struggles with it, and I'm like again, I'm not an animal lover, but even those scenes with those like animals, that was a tough like
yeah,
particularly the mutate like when they had done the experiments on them and they were like all best friends and like buddies and things. That was like
you
that was
knew
a tough
something was
like
coming.
like those create like that the what's he called it the high evolutionary. That dude's just what the fuck was he trying to do with the bunny? Like I like so
Spider Bunny.
Spider Bunny. I was like, what the hell were you trying to actually create?
He clearly watched some Toy Story as a kid.
Oh, he clearly. Oh, dude, again.
Oh, but he did say that he studied Earth.
He did. Oh, true.
He totally watched Toy Story.
True. But it was. But yeah, that was. So I understand. Like it's. I think if I look at the numbers, it's done 365 million at the box office on its first like week and a bit now at 250 million production budget. Man, when you have MCU characters and they've been in a few movies, their costs go up. So obviously, so I don't think it's gonna like I don't think it's gonna go down like as like I don't
a
think
huge box office success.
Box office success, but it'll probably do well, and
Yeah.
but does this movie mean that what would you say to this movie? Does this movie give you hope for James Gunn for DC, less hope for James Gunn to DC? Where do you think it sits?
Oh no, look, I've always been a James Gunn fan.
Yep.
Um, Obviously, like the first time I really stood up was first Guardians,
Mm-hmm.
because we knew everyone was saying this is such a big gamble. This is such a big gamble.
Yep.
And then it ended up. I think I remember you. I was on a holiday or on a road trip somewhere, and you were like, "Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it." And we literally, I think I was with my dad, and we just found the nearest cinema that day and went and saw it. And it's just like, wow, this is just incredible. But I have high regard for James Gunn. He rarely ever fails. And I don't know. I just find trusting him, and I'm excited for DC to be able to start producing some consistently good films one after the
Yep.
other. I just
Yep.
feel like that's going to happen. Apart from the occasional hit, like it used to be like, wow, eh, wow.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing because to your point, correct. MCU movies used to be basically these like cornerstone events that
Yeah.
you have to go see one because
Yeah.
it leads to the next one, and you
Yeah.
know it was basically television, but very expensive movie like television.
Yeah.
But then they've obviously, but then they screwed up. We all we don't have to belabor that point. So back onto Guardians. So let's talk about the first Guardians for a brief period. And yes, so I remember seeing that one because I did, for some reason, I can't remember what happened, but they announced there was a special screening of Guardians early for some unknown reason. And then I looked online, there was 2 tickets. I was like, I'll buy one. And told my wife, we're gonna go see this movie, and she's like, why? I'm like, oh, I was like, because I knew the comics, so I was excited about to see how they would do it. And yes, to this day, it's still one of my favorite MCU movies of all time in terms of like, everything. One, he danced to save the galaxy. Again, that's just
you quite literally did.
You can't deny the fact that the galaxy was saved by a man in a dance off.
Yeah.
Ooh, child. Yeah, it was, again, that was just sensational. And one thing I really liked about that show, the Guardians of the MCU universe, humanity's contribution to the stars is music.
Yeah.
So like, and I like that idea, like going all like we're not very good at like our technology is nothing like that, but one thing that we obviously are very good at is music, and even like in art, and so that our contribution is that's our contribution to the galaxy.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's such a huge risk because again, before that he did Super. Well, again, I love Super, so actually, but then he did the Scooby-Doo films, which
well, they were perfectly cast.
Perfectly cast. Like, no, you're right. Casting was just like, he made some hilarious things on YouTube, which to me today are still one of the funniest fucking things ever. PG porn
with Nathan Fillion,
which was just legendary. And to me, still one of like there are some true cornerstone moments in the MCU. One, when Cap at the train station.
Yeah.
Captain America getting up after standing up against Thanos by himself. Just absolutely amazing scene. The first Avengers all standing together, spinning with the camera spinning around them. In that amazing shot. And Take My Hand, Peter, when they all join hands, and then like they distribute the power of the Power Stone, and and then like we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a huge that to me is an iconic moment in that film, and it sets up that whole entire franchise, and it just and that showed that to everyone's point, they said, MCU can take anything and turn it into gold, because they could at the time. Everything that they're going, what's the weirdest character that you could possibly think of? Rocket Raccoon, right? Let's make him big.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the second one?
Look, I loved it, and if not, like, I mean, they really lent hard on the baby Groot.
Oh, sure.
And they had, I still have the little. I got it imported from San Diego Comic Con, and it's
Mm.
a little statue of Groot pushing the button. He's
Yep,
like this
yep.
one, no,
Oh,
no, no,
no.
no.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, look, and again, it's the soundtracks.
Oh,
You know,
again, show again. As people are saying, Guardians is just a way to show kids what good music is. It's basically like going
yeah,
here,
yeah.
here is good music.
But no, I did like it's a lot of emotional stuff in Guardians too. Um, especially like meeting his actual father, and like the whole um Yondu death,
Mm.
and gets his Ravager funeral, and you're just like, oh,
Oh, the Ravager funeral. That was just
yeah,
that song. The song choice, just
yeah, yeah.
oh.
Yeah. Again, like James Gunn is brilliant at picking themes. Like, this is what the theme about this movie is. This is what the theme about that movie is.
And Yondo went from a somewhat unlikable, somewhat like funny character, but a little bit unlikable in the first movie to
Yeah,
this to the greatest fucking line ever, which basically
yeah,
you know, he's your father, but he ain't your daddy. I was like going, I was
yeah,
like, heart,
yeah, yeah,
it's like that in the feels, just punched
yeah,
in the feels. That's then also in the Christmas special where
yeah.
it turns out that he gave Quill
His
his energy
guns.
blood, his
Yeah,
guns, and it's like going, just fucking James Gunn just nailing the
yeah,
emotions right. I think
yeah, and yeah. Um, but you could see the movies getting progressively darker as they went along. I feel like the first one was a lot more lighthearted.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and the second one stepped up. And then of course the third one is just brutal. you're
Oh,
just like you're just like, oh my, ow, just
ow, yeah. Okay, look, let's go into the third one. So the actors are all a little bit older. Um, I love the trailer fake out where like
yeah,
that was in the first fucking
yeah. The
scene.
first scene,
I was like, oh, you fucking dick, James
yeah,
Gunn. You fucking, you just
yeah,
absolute, you
yeah.
asshole. You,
Although that was, have you seen all the posts about them? Because the fake Star-Lord that weighed like,
oh, yeah, James Gunn and Chris Pratt talking about the dirty things
yeah,
they had like planned for,
yeah,
like, yeah, just,
yeah, and like because like, so basically, if you see in the trailer, it's also the start of the film, um, where they're carrying Chris Pratt, but it's not real Chris Pratt; it's a fake Chris Pratt, but it looks so flippin' real. And I think James Gunn said he left it in his office, and people kept coming inside and screaming because it looked like Chris Pratt was just passed out on his desk. Like, oh my god, it's Chris Pratt. Um,
yeah, that's such,
yeah.
again. So, fake out aside, um, what were some of your highlights of that film? Give me two highlights.
So, well, one, it's Rocket Raccoon's backstory.
Oh,
Like,
yep.
that is gut wrenching, and like, you should be laughing again. It's the Planet of the Apes, uh, the middle movie with Andy Serkis, like Andy Serkis trilogy.
Mm,
And you should be laughing at apes riding horses with machine guns, like that.
but you're
Like,
not.
if I came up to you and said, "Hey, monkey on a horseback with with a machine gun," you'd laugh,
Yeah, yeah,
and
no,
then
that's right. You'd be like, yeah, let's
that's
do it. That's
ridiculous,
ridiculous.
and then Rocket getting out of his cage and then just picking up his gun and going bang bang, killing these, and he's like tiny, he's smaller than we've he is in the first movie. Okay,
Mm.
this should be ridiculous, but I'm crying over over a talking raccoon. um so definitely that there was just too much. I think the other thing I think of right now is Drax's interaction with the kids. you
Yep,
know
yep.
it's like, um just
Yeah.
being that father figure, funny, boop, 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 um that stood out for me.
Oh, that was and that was so well handled because like yes, the constant joke is Drax is stupid. It's like going,
Yeah,
well, he's literal. I don't think he's stupid. He's just
yeah,
literal.
yeah,
And then they play that perfectly in terms of how that played out.
yeah. And of course, I love it when they go to the semi-human planet that looks like from the
Oh, the look,
50s or
the
something, you
yep.
know. It's just like the more and more I think about it, yeah, yes, I like that. I like that. Like, there's so much good in it, you know. Um, um, yeah, and I haven't even mentioned Adam Warlock, which I think a lot of people were
That's
controversial about that.
again controversial take on Adam Warlock because obviously you and other people like you who are fans of the comic Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah,
you saw Adam Warlock as this all powerful thing.
yeah,
And in this one, he's younger, much
yeah,
younger, and just basically decanted early. And then he's obviously
yeah,
not
yeah,
full Adam Warlock. But
yeah.
I thought the actor did a fantastic job with the role that he was given to play
Oh yeah,
because he was hilarious. Like he was just
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
like he was just absolutely
yeah.
fucking hilarious. Just like there's so many
Like,
moments where I was like, just
yeah,
where it's like going, well, I feel really bad now. It's rubbing against me.
yeah,
I'm sad now. There's like, and then he adopts the animal because he doesn't want
yeah,
to kill it.
yeah. Yeah. But like, yeah, okay. Another thing that stood out for me was obviously Nathan Fillion's cameo.
Oh,
That
Nathan,
that
that
was
was so
fantastic.
good.
But enough for me. What were your standouts?
Mm-mm-mm. So that's tough because again, like you said, so many good things. For one, love the higher evolutionary. Normally, MCU is always hit and miss with villains, mostly miss.
Yeah,
But he was so good as the higher, like that villain was just perfect. It was,
yeah,
was he evil? Yes, but he had, but he had his method. He had a method behind the
yeah,
madness. He was just basically, what worked on, as one of the great scenes where he says, "Oh, they can do this thing amazingly." How do they do that? Rote memorization. Yes, rote memorization. They didn't create the idea. Rocket create. You talk about how Rocket creates
yeah,
ideas. It's like going, none of my other things creates ideas. I just understand. Oh yeah, why? And like that's
yeah,
that obsession, that insanity
yeah,
obsession. And so to me that was awesome and that was fantastic. One of the other thing I guess that I really liked the composition of the team play Gamora no, sorry, I'll talk about Gamora in a bit. um has Karen Gillan's character, what's her name? Nebula.
Nebula.
Nebula and Krill, I thought, were fantastic. And I agree 100% with Karen Gillan when she said like she believes that Nebula has not a not so substantial size crush on Peter Quill, and because some of the things where she's
Interesting.
like looking like, oh, shut up. I'm like going, yeah, thus
Yeah,
lady protests too much. I kind of feel that she's got a little crush on him there.
that was
Like
probably the actress.
that's true. That could also be the actress,
I mean,
portraying. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but how could you not do a
that's
film
Chris
with
Pratt,
Chris
of course.
Pratt and not crush on the guy?
Okay, that's a more valid point than anything else there. Um, so and I did like the fact that it was slightly more mature than the original. Like it's a gradual step.
Yeah,
They like James Gunn could have kept it safe and said, let's go with funny MCU and just keep it
yeah,
keep it safe. But he didn't. He goes, no, this is my final fucking thing.
yeah,
I'm gonna swing for the fucking fence.
yeah,
And and he did it respectfully to the characters that he respected the characters, but he still managed to do that big swing.
yeah,
Um, and even though you hate anime so much, you were still pointing out there were so many anime styled moments,
yeah,
with Yondu returning to help
yeah.
out his
Look,
student.
I don't hate anime. All right, I respect anime, but I'd probably like it. I just probably don't like how it's presented. Like present it differently.
How do you mean presented differently?
I don't know, not cartoon. I don't know what it is because you're right. Every aspect of it, like down to the punk rock in Japanese sung intros,
Yes,
I'm just like, yes,
everything you should like it
yeah,
because
I
it's
should,
one.
but
Every single anime, they don't care about politics or culture,
yeah,
or they write their story. So this is my fucking story.
yeah,
They um they are very all the stories have a very strong anti-government lean to
yeah,
them,
yeah,
and again, and they play actual rock music, but then they tell amazing story moments that now Western cinemas like try to replicate, like the flashbacks, the memories,
Yeah.
the digging deep to that
Yeah.
one final push. It's all based like again, and I 100% know James Gunn watches fucking anime. I've seen enough of his shit now to know that you
Yeah.
fucking watch anime because
Yeah.
you're just so
Yeah.
so that moment was awesome, and I loved. I fucking like, and I know some people. Like, I heard some weird people say like, "Oh, why did they change Cosmo's like race?" I'm like going like sorry, gender. I'm like
Gender.
going. I don't fucking. It
Like,
was
doesn't matter. It's a dog.
the dog. Like, and honestly, like, it was awesome. Like that like again, whilst it's a telepathic dog, it's still a dog. So the
Yeah.
fact that it was that she was so hung up from being called a bad dog for the
Yeah.
entire film was just
Yeah.
fucking outstanding. Because like yes,
Except
that's what a dog would do.
we totally knew that it
We
was
know we
trying to
knew
come. Knew it was
exactly.
coming.
We knew it
We
was,
knew the good dog was coming.
but that was just
Oh, and the redemption of what's his name? James Gunn's brother. Crag. Is it Crag?
yeah.
Kraglin, I think his name is. That was great. He finally got to be able to, because when Adam Warlock at the start and the arrow
He
flicks
hits
him
him
on
with
the
the arrow in the
shoulder.
face. Yeah,
No, flicks him, and he's just like,
the hell was then he just
"Who
hit.
did that?"
Who did that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
That was
you're right.
funny.
Then he finally
Yeah.
got the chance to shine.
Yeah.
That but to your point, it was weird that people were like so fixated about the dog, like oh, it's a male in like in the comics.
Yeah.
It's like again, it's again. If
Well,
you tell me what the gender of a dog is, I don't know because it's a fucking dog.
yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I know dogs have genders, but if you look at a dog, you can't look at a dog and go, "That's a boy dog."
And yeah. Um,
Now, not everything is perfect. I have my not perfect thing, and I'll get to that. But what what was something that you thought was a little bit of a not a letdown, but just something that just was like,
I honestly can't think of one at the moment. I have been meaning I want to see the movie again, and that's when I'd probably pick up on
Yeah.
a lot more. I know the more I think about it is you weren't too crash hot on Gamora and Quill's
Oh yeah,
arc or ending.
oh,
Should I say?
I will
Like
launch
there
into
was
that
potential. There was
let
potential.
me launch into that very shortly. But I'll let you finish first your thought before I
Well, no,
go
look, I kind of agree to an extent, but then I'm 50-50 on it. I I kind of do feel like Gamora could have done a bit more.
Yep.
Like she was very angry for a lot of the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly can't think of anything that really bugged me all that much at the moment. To be continued.
Continued. Okay. So my biggest grudge, which you talked about, is how they ended the Peter Quill and Gamora saga there, where they're not together. The main reason where I think that was a bit of a letdown. I know that James Gunn sometimes doesn't do happy endings, or sometimes he does happy endings, but also there's loss in these endings. But I don't like when he goes to DC, I don't want him to take that with him. I want him to understand that and this is a spoil. But this is a spoil. If you're still listening here, you've obviously seen the film.
Yeah.
I thought. Let me give you an example of an anime doing something right because it's anime. In Edge Runners, the series, the main character gets too many cybernetic implants to the point where he goes fucking. He's going cyber psycho, and he goes completely fucking nuts. And like his friends need him. He can't battle back. Then his love interest catches him, and they hold each other romantically. And then she kisses him, and that one moment is enough to bring him back to sanity. It shouldn't happen because once you go cyber psycho, but you know what? Fuck it, it's anime. It's an awesome moment, and then he was able to hold off and let them escape because sacrificing himself. I thought they had the perfect anime moment that would have also played back to the first film where Peter Quill jumps out into space and starts freezing over. What happened in the first film with Gamora? What put them on the
Yeah.
path of love is that she was dying. He jumped out, took off his mask, put it around to save, and it was there. It was right fucking there for them
Yeah.
for Gamora to do the same fucking
Yeah.
thing, and then because of that, I don't know, because of some cosmic coincidence or the universe realigning, that then the memories flood back of who she was, and then there's that moment where they're holding each other again. I was like going, you show me that scene, I'll see that film 10 times in the cinema to see it again. But you don't have again that, and that was my again, it is my one gripe of how they left that.
Yeah.
And if the moment was there, why didn't they again? It was obvious. Maybe James Gunn overthought himself. Said maybe it's too obvious. Like no, no, it would have been perfect. They didn't do it. But that's again, these are small
Yeah.
nitpicks
Yeah.
to an impressive film. The fact that they've put up a thing saying like, oh, at the end saying, Star-Lord will return, and they're going, you wish he will. I don't
Yeah.
think I
Really?
don't think
You don't reckon he'll be come back for that? What's that one they're doing? The big crossover. That Hugh Jackman's going to be in Secret Wars. Apparently, they're doing some big where it's going to be like multiversey something. I don't know. There's going to be Hugh Jackman, and all various different Avengers.
Yeah. But the main reason why that's an issue is obviously Jonathan Majors, the person who's playing Kang, had some off the field troubles. And
and
I'm pretty sure they're thinking about recasting him.
Well,
replacing him.
Everyone's saying, how about the villain from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
And I was just, and thank you, perfect. And I was actually going to say, wouldn't that be perfect if they say that the High Evolutionary was a Kang variant?
Yeah, because they didn't,
and then he could then just play Kang, and then just because damn, that guy's a fine actor, and I don't think he's in any off-field incidents or trouble right now, so I think you're probably safe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd want. I don't know if I would want. I don't know if I'd want Peter Quill to return without James Gunn, because I think James Gunn even mentioned he didn't like the fact that they made Peter Quill the reason why Thanos woke up. He said I wouldn't like that. That didn't seem right to me, or didn't seem like. So I don't know if, and I don't know how you would do Peter Quill without
without the Guardians,
the Guardians, but even more so without James Gunn's guiding hand on the character. Could Chris Pratt do it himself and probably do a fine job? Yes, sure. Again,
well,
Chris Pratt.
It could work as a cameo,
As a cameo, I'd probably, I'd say that would work as a cameo, but having said that, your current Avengers rosters is such fucking dog shit.
Yeah, it really is.
If you're wanting to do a Luke Skywalker thing to, someone to come and save them at the last minute, you're probably talking about Peter Quill in that moment.
Yeah.
And if you look at the current roster, if they're fighting Kang and they're like, oh, we're in trouble, we can't do it. Who's going to, what's going to happen? And if you hear this, the and as a ship arrives and then the Guardians all jump out, you'd be like, yes.
Yeah. Well, apparently they're all going to be in the Superman movie.
Oh no, 100%. Again, 100%. They are all going to fucking DC.
No, but literally, Chris Pratt put out a tweet that said, "I have an announcement," and there was a picture of Superman, like a cartoon picture, and he said the Guardians cast are going to be in Superman Legacy.
So, here's the crazy thing. Do you think? No, I don't think that he would do that, would he? Do you think James Gunn would just cast Chris Pratt as Superman?
No, because he said he wanted to do a younger.
But
that would be an insult to Henry Cavill because Chris Pratt is older than Henry Cavill.
Yeah, but he might have just said that to not hurt Henry Cavill's feelings.
No, look, James Gunn's smarter than that. He really is. You know,
You're right, Henry.
Who's-
You're right. Chris Pratt is 43, so he is older. You're right.
yeah,
Like I could see here, like, again, Chris Pratt. What should he be in DCEU? Again, we've discussed this before.
Booster Gold.
Booster Gold. That role's too small for Chris Pratt. I think.
Yeah,
I think he would be perfect as Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and then obviously if you
yeah.
then bring in Jonathan Stewart and as like the new Green Lantern, and then Hal Jordan as the senior, like the mentor type. I think that would work perfectly to
Mhm.
mentor in Jonathan Stewart. So I think that's a good idea. But yeah, definitely, look. It's James Gunn. The people he likes are going to turn up in the film. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
100%.
again, and people say that's dumb. It's like going, is it as dumb as anything else that happens in Hollywood? No. So
Yeah. No, look, and at the end of the day, I trust Gunn. I just pray that he doesn't have a Icarus moment somewhere down the line. You know,
no. I
flying
think
too close to the sun.
flying too
And
close to the sun.
yeah,
No, I think the fact, and I'm very thankful for this. The fact that he's doing Superman as the first big movie of the rank is the right move.
yep,
There are too many people that basically go, Superman's too hard. Let's just do Batman. And then Snyder was the same thing. Like clearly when Snyder did his Superman film, he goes, "No, give me Batman. I want to do Batman." Because it was dark, it was gritty, and
yeah,
and Nolan did dark and gritty Batman. Everyone can do dark and gritty Batman. And maybe Chris Pratt did dark and gritty Guardians because he was getting it out of his system because he knows that Superman. So,
yeah.
but
Oh, that's true. It could have been. He could have been practicing his DC tone. You know.
I'm not practicing. He's going, I'm not going to do this for my Superman films. I need to get my dark and grittiness like out of my system. So then when I make my Superman film, it's a bright light to the galaxy. And
Yeah.
so
That's true.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing it first, which means he's obviously got a plan for it. And look, great films. I think benefit of the doubt. The fact that Batista doesn't want to do Bane is a little bit saddening to me, but again, that's those are and to a lot of the actors' points, they are very old now. They've sort of like now.
Yeah.
Most of the actors are at the age where they can really just pick and choose the role they want. So like they can live happily off the money they have. So it's like, yeah, committing to another superhero franchise, I can understand why they probably are less inclined to do so.
Well, look, before we round this episode off, I got a quick article that you may find interesting. Sticking with the theme, it's from Collider.com. It is the MCU trilogies ranked.
Oh,
so coming at a 6 is Thor, which I tend to agree with. Now, being a trilogy, we're obviously ignoring the.
No. With Thor, are they ignoring?
Yeah, they are. Well,
So
because then that's not a trilogy. That's a quad trilogy.
No, but like that does leave a sour taste in the one's mouth. So
yeah, it does. But like, because when you look at Thor, you go, okay, solid first film, solid third film.
Yep, solid first film, solid. Yeah, first film, second film. They
was
wanted
okay.
to go. It was okay, but they went this dark tone, which again, that was
Yeah.
a big wrong for the character. So
Yeah.
third film, who doesn't love the 80s? So
Yeah.
All right. Next one.
Iron Man.
Yep. Again, solid first one. People said the second one was iffy because it's because look, the second one was basically an Avengers trailer. Like they're basically like trying to ram all the cameos in as they can.
Yeah, I liked the second one.
I still like it. Like it's still it's still a great film. Like
yeah.
Like Hammer is hilariously bad in that film.
Yeah.
And like it's just like a shit, like just an absolute like dickhead. Like
I call it
like,
the ex-wife.
His little dance he comes on stage. It's
Yeah.
like you look at him going, oh my god, I want to fucking punch you. I just want to
Yeah.
fucking like you
Yeah.
are just. And also gave us it gave us that really awesome scene of Black Widow where
Yeah.
she's like taking all like how Jon Favreau's character is like fighting one dude, and like by the time he's finished, he turns around and like everyone's fucking gone. Everyone's done. I was like, okay, that's a good introduction for a character.
Yeah. Coming in at 4 is Avengers.
Ooh.
Which I guess they're excluding Endgame.
they're excluding Endgame.
Yeah. Because look, everyone loved the first one.
First one was excellent. Age of Ultron was again. I didn't like that. Wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It was still solid.
And the expectations for Age of Ultron were just
Unbelievably high.
You were gonna fail that one. And also because you're doing Age of Ultron and you're doing it over a weekend, that's not gonna work. Like you gotta you should have brought Ultron in, let him develop, and then in a future movie, then do Age of Ultron. You can't. Yeah, but again, Age of Ultron was the most realistic of the MCU villains. He turned on the internet and then looked at the internet and went, "Humanity must die." All right, honestly,
the
100%. The most realistic villain of all the MCU.
Yeah. And then still to this day, Infinity War is one of my favorites.
Infinity War was fantastic. You are 100% correct.
Yeah. Coming in at number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd almost put them at number 1.
Oh yeah, I don't know about because that's 3 solid films.
They're all
not
solid.
even solid, just 3
Perfect.
fucking just gems.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2 is Captain America.
Well, I mean,
let's be honest. He has he has the strongest second film of all the trilogies.
Oh my god, that second film was just that changed everything. That's next level.
That flipping that boat scene.
Oh yes. Oh, and again, the elevator scene where he's basically
Before we get started, does anyone?
Oh yes. And that created so many wonderful memes of of him saying an opinion and all the guys attacking him. It's so many cool memes of that.
Yeah. And a lot of them, there's a lot of them. They're jokes, they're dad jokes.
I know. That's But having said that, it really, to me, I don't like politics in my films.
Yeah.
But this was the perfect example of where it worked, where it's basically going, do you really trust the government with this kind of power?
Yeah.
No. And then obviously it turned out the government were Hydra, so you're going, well, they have, so Captain America was absolutely fucking correct in his thoughts. And then that played into obviously then the Civil War where, correct, where he goes, why we're not signing over this stupid accords because you want to have government oversight of no. I'm full team Cap on this 100%.
Before we dive in, before we reveal the best trilogy that they say is, I just want to hit you with some of these elevator memes.
Oh yes, you have to.
So one of them's Captain America. Everyone knows the scene. Captain America's going, you know why they call it the Dark Ages? No, because there were so many nights.
Oh,
they all attack him.
Oh, nice.
There's a blank one, so you can
make your own. Yes.
Yeah. I tried to sue the airline for losing my luggage. Did you win? I lost the case.
Yes.
Okay, two more. Diarrhea is hereditary. How? It runs in your genes.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I think they only get birth. Here's one for Chris. I'm here for the party. This is a BDSM party. I know. All right. Okay. That's my fun. Now revealing. Okay, they say the best trilogy is Spider-Man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Ooh.
So
basically, the No Way series, right? It's the No Way. So
yeah.
Is it the No Way series as well? Is that what they're calling it? What's the?
Would be because the first one's. No, it's the Home.
The Home series, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Not. It's
Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Far From Home, and then Spider-Man
No Way Home. Yeah. Which is random.
Honestly, that's a fucking solid trilogy.
When the more you think about it, it is.
Like you could argue with Captain America that the first movie wasn't as strong as his later ones. Like
Yeah.
he went from a good first movie to just this crazy second one, and then just basically this crazy
Yeah.
third one where it's like going, "Oh my god!" Everyone's basically going, "Cap, you're the
Yeah.
best," and then But Spider-Man was solid in all three. Like
Yeah.
three phases
And
solid.
again, the villains were perfection.
Oh, like
Every single one.
love Vulture. That was a good use of
Because he was because Spider-Man began with grounded villains. Like
he
ones
wasn't
that-
this ultra death claws like kind
Yeah.
of thing. He was just this dude that's
Yeah.
had Chitauri technology and
Yeah.
built a suit. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Mysterio, obviously, like
Yeah.
amazing. And then obviously, look, No Way Home, yes, like that film just
all the villains.
all the villains.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I'm not sure if you call it sad. But sad. But I'm not, but, is it happy, sad, sad, sad? I'm not sure it's sad. But basically, the only reason why Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't going to be the leaders of the Avengers is because he's owned by Sony.
Yeah.
But if you're going to look at someone that should be the next Tony Stark, or maybe not the next leader, but the second leader, the Tony Stark to Captain America as
Yeah.
so like it should be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He should be the next leader of the next leader of the next leader of the Avengers, and then that's an Avengers you could get behind. And it's like yes,
Yeah.
but because he's owned by Sony and they had a giant falling out, and then they went to war with each other, and then and I think did they actually come to agreement again? I can't remember if they actually came to agreement on I can't remember. I remember the it looked like it was all over and dead, but
No, I think they're doing a fourth Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But on this topic, just briefly, because another meme popped up before.
Yep.
And it's got there's ones where it goes like or heart, like which would you prefer kind of thing. Well, they said basically two fanfic posters. One is Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4, one Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now the villain in the Tobey Maguire one is Vulture. Looks very much like it's modeled off the cartoon, so it's not the robotic wings; it's actual. That it's for some reason it's got Bruce Campbell as as Mysterio, Black Cat, obviously. But then in the Andrew Garfield, it looks like a darker tone. It's got Tom Hardy Venom, Black Cat, and finally MJ. So what would you rather see? A fourth Toby or a third Andrew?
I didn't like Andrew. I'll be completely. I'll be.
Ladies and gentlemen, so I'd like to tell you that Chris is now going to be resigning from Stories for giving the incorrect answer.
Again, look, was he a fine Spider-Man? Sure. I just, I don't know. Like, of all the Spider-Mans out there, Andrew's my least favorite.
Now you understand anime, how I feel about anime. Yeah. No, because it's the opposite. He's my favorite. He's hands down my favorite. He's the most comic book accurate. He looks like he's ripped from the pages. They even modeled the first PS4 Spider-Man game off him.
They did, and then they changed him to Tom Holland.
Wish they didn't.
Again, they're very clear to why they did that, because then when they tried to make the PS5 version, they lost the model wink of the face. And they're very clear saying when they did the upgrade, the face didn't work correctly, so they had to do a new face. And that's the totally legitimate reason why they changed it.
Yes.
Don't even question Sony's thing on that.
No. Yeah, no. So you want the Toby movie, the fourth Toby, Old Man Spidey?
I wouldn't mind actually that, because some of my favorite comics when I was growing up with Spider-Man was when he was with Mary Jane and like he was just in a relationship. Like they were like, I like those ones. Like I know that like Hollywood hates that because it's like they're in a relationship long term. What do we do? How do we create drama? It's like going, oh, you've never been married, haven't you? You don't know.
Yeah.
Like you've obviously never been married. Like
Yeah.
that's even harder. Uh, and some of my favorite ones were like when they were just together, and so
Yeah.
I would like to see that kind of or I would accept a third Andrew Garfield on one condition. That Catherine McNamara plays Mary Jane.
I'd accept that. I think they actually they filmed
They filmed the scene with
Shailene Woodley.
and
I've
she just
seen. Well, I've seen the set photos. She looks pretty good. But
it wasn't. That's not MJ. Catherine McNamara, dye her hair red. That's MJ.
Sticking to the tradition of Kirsten Dunst, blonde, dyes her hair red.
Yep.
And Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone in
redhead had to dye hair
redhead
blonde.
had blonde. Yeah. Oh wow, this is probably one of our many big disagreements. Yeah, I'm
It's not
sorry.
really a disagreement because again, I'm a man of compromise. So I am someone I'm someone who can find a suitable compromise, and I've found my suitable compromise with your Andrew Garfield, and I just it would only work is if it's a Mary Jane, because I want him to still be dark and a little bit down,
Yeah.
and then Mary Jane to come into his life and lift him up.
Now, Chris, just to pull you completely over to this side.
Yep.
How would you feel about Felicia Day, the Black Cat played by Cat Graham?
Oh.
look! Oh, if you could, listeners, if you could see Chris's face.
Shit.
I
Cat
reckon she'd
Graham.
be good.
Cat
Black
Graham
Cat.
as Black Cat. Yes.
And she has to dye her hair that silver color.
Oh, that's gonna look even better. All right, you know what, Jamie? I'm a man who can admit when he's wrong, and I absolutely see. Yes,
because then you would have that tension because she's totally got the hots for Spider-Man.
Yep.
You know,
correct.
You'd have the triangle, Chris.
You got the triangle exactly. Oh man, dude, you again.
Now,
Kudos.
Let me hear you
sir.
say it. Let me hear you say it. Let me hear you say it.
Jamie, you're correct.
Yes.
You are right.
Now
you have
I know.
pitched me the perfect combination of Spider-Mans. And I would enjoy that. That I think you have found the perfect formula that would make an amazing Spider-Man 3. They're never going to do that. But
No, they're not. They're really not.
No. Andrew, it's like Tom Holland's too popular.
Yeah,
well, he hasn't done much, has he, lately? What's he doing?
Well, I think he said he's taking a bit of a break. You know,
I heard he was taking a break, but
because he's got his millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know, and he's not even 30 yet, or he just turned 30 or something like that. But
no, he's born in 1996. That makes him 2060. Oh, get fucked. Oh, it's too young.
Yeah, no, proper Spider. Like he still looks like a teenager, you know. So that's what he's got going for him. But yeah.
What's that? He's yeah. Well, he said he took a break for his mental health. And he stopped drinking. That's helped him recover. Okay.
And yeah, he probably did the bad thing you do when you're a celebrity and read the comments.
Ah,
you know.
He would be a He would be a comments reader. I think Tom Holland
Well,
would
he's
absolutely. I think he would. I think he looks like a yeah
a comment reader.
a reader. And do we know if he's still with Zendaya or not? I know that.
I don't know. Probably. If
I'm
you
not sure if
haven't,
that ever, like was that ever confirmed, or like because they were just seen together a lot.
yeah, I don't know if they confirmed it. Or that's why we probably haven't heard anything, because it's never really been confirmed. But you kind of know it is. But it's when Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were dating, that was like you knew it was happening. It was vocal. Then they split up, and that was vocal because you saw they were both at the Oscars. I think when La La Land was on or whatever.
Okay.
And you
On
can
May
see how
5th, they were seen together at a basketball game.
oh
So they attended a game together.
what was their body language like?
They were like watching the game. Like
No, but speak to you got to get gossipy here, Chris.
okay, so reading the body language, Zendaya seems far more interested in this event than Tom Holland does. He's a football fan. This is basketball. This is probably more Zendaya's thing. Having said that, she's still, while she's watching the game, she's still leaning into him, and he's leaning into her.
Okay,
So if I was reading the body language, I'd say there's still like, and even when Tom's watching the game, he's leaning across, with like he's on a lean to her, so like he's leaning towards her, like quite like significantly. So if not in a relationship, very very good friends.
It's a will they won't they, or we're together but we can't publicize it thing. Well, listeners, if you or Tom Holland, if you're listening, and Zendaya, if you want to come on and confirm your relationship status, send us an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Or send us a message on Instagram at stories_podcast. I know Tom Holland, you're not really on social media at the moment, but if you could get this message somehow to Tom Holland via Chris Pratt or I don't know, who's he good friends with? Who's Tom Holland's good friend? Robert Downey Jr. Do you think they'd be hanging out?
Yep, and the reason why we want to know is because you look like such a happy couple. Like, and we wish you all the best. And, Tom seems like a good guy. So does Zendaya. So, if they found happiness with each other on the set of the Spider-Man, we wish them all the very best. Now, Jamie, as always, you have prepared an outro for us, have you not?
Oh, it's not an outro, more of a final thought. Kind of curious thing.
Jamie's final thoughts, we'll call it. Yeah. Jamie, take us away with your final thoughts.
Before we get to that, thank you guys for listening. As always, you can reach out to the thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, stories_podcast on Instagram. Send us a story, send us a comment. If you're an author and you want to come on for an interview, we've got another good interview that aired last week. We've got some new ones coming out soon. Just reach out to us. We're friendly. We're always willing to share people's stories.
Absolutely.
But now for my final thought. Turtles can never have sleepovers because they are always at home.
Aww.
And on that sad note, we bid you adieu.